Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about One Piece chapter 936, and I thought it was pretty good overall. So we last left off with Raizo finding Kawamatsu in his jail cell, and he ended up being that secret guy. Raizo's just basically chilling out. He's like, listen, you get me out of here, we're all set. However, Raizo is unfortunately spotted by a bunch of people, and he has to make a beeline for an escape, or at least temporarily. Meanwhile, Luffy and Old Man Hyo are having to deal with Queen, and things got a little more interesting. Queen has thought up this fun idea where they're gonna sumo wrestle as a team, the two of them, Luffy and Old Man Hyo. Meanwhile, there's gonna be a bunch of other enemies for them to take on. And just to make things a little bit more easy for them, the shackles came off. However, now they have these collars on them, and that's even worse, honestly, than the shackles that they had. Although I guess it does make it a little bit easier for Luffy. The problem with these collars is if they get knocked out of the ring, it'll cut off their heads. It'll just be like, that's it. Queen showed them on a giant pillar thing, and it basically just shattered the pillar. And it's got these spikes on the inside when they go out of the ring. So that's not going to be good. However, it's not too much of a problem right now, because the first collection of enemies that ran at Luffy and Hyo basically just got knocked out immediately, because now that Luffy can use his haki and all of his abilities, they're not much of an issue for him. These low-ranking people don't matter. He uses Conqueror's haki and just knocks everybody else out, and Queen's pretty impressed, I guess, at this point, including everybody else around this situation, because it seemed like they were pretty surprised that he would have that kind of ability, and they were definitely underestimating Luffy at this point. Even Kawamatsu's actually surprised how good he is, or at the very least that he has Conqueror's haki, and is talking about how he needs to protect Old Man Hyo, because Old Man Hyo is super important, and then he does this, like, laugh, and, like, all One Piece characters, or most One Piece characters, all most notable One Piece characters have like a quirky laugh. Like I think Blackbeard's is like zzzz, or like something with a Z. Kawamatsu laughs like a kappa. He's like kappa pa pa. So I'm wondering if that's a hint at what he looks like. Is he a kappa himself, or is there some kind of like... First of all, does he have devil fruit, or is he some kind of other race, or whatever, and that's why they're trying to keep him a secret? I think maybe it's supposed to be a low-key hint, but it's hard to say for sure what he will look like. Either way, he's still trapped in the cell, so he's not going anywhere. And Luffy's going at all these guys and just taking them all out. And honestly, I think Queen is probably going to have to step up to go after Luffy. And it's going to turn into this giant, legit sumo wrestle match between Luffy and Queen. And I think that could be really cool. Meanwhile, at the bathhouse, we have Hawkins and Drake basically raiding it. They're looking for rebels and presumably the Straw Hats. But they're looking specifically for people with the Kozuki clan symbol on their ankle, the whole crane and snake and moon thing. So they're looking around, but you got all these girls that are just basically half naked, and everybody's freaking out. And of course, it wouldn't be One Piece if there wasn't some naked girl shenanigans. And we got some naked Nami going on. It's weird. So of course, we have Nami dropping their towel. Everybody freaks out, and that leads us to Sanji, who was at the bathhouse. I'm surprised that they didn't show him even just a little bit at the bathhouse in the last chapter. They definitely hinted that he would be there, but then he never showed up, and it was just like, oh, well, maybe that's not where he went. No, he went to the bathhouse because he's a giant perv. So he's wearing his raid suit and looking pretty cool. I like his raid suit, but he's getting all bloody because he's a gross mess. And meanwhile, he's freaking out about Nami dropping her towel, and that's just it's a whole thing. Also, apparently Drake has a weakness to pretty girls or something. Whatever. I hope they don't use that against him, because it's a really dumb weakness. There's too many perverts in this show. Either way, Sanji, Nami, Robin, and Shinobu all escape. I'm presumably Hawkins and Drake will pursue them, but they're just flying out of there. This was a pretty fast-paced chapter overall, honestly. And I can really respect that, because a lot happened but at the same time, it really kept moving. There's 3 parts to this. The final part is the last couple pages with Zoro, and he's finally tracking down Shusui, the sword that got stolen from him, the sword that he got from Ryuma at Thriller Bark, and he comes upon this giant guy with a bunch of face paint and a giant spear and a bunch of weapons behind him, and the guy's like, oh, the sword is back where it belongs. It was stolen from Ryuma's grave. And Zoro's like, yeah, I know all that. It's not my problem. It's my sword now, so give it back to me. There's a little bit of a confrontation going on between them. And it turns out Zoro is a dumb person. However, there are small little times when he actually uses his brain. So he notices that this giant guy has a bunch of weapons, and I don't remember if we got a name for this giant guy, actually, now that I think about it. I feel like I would have written it down, but maybe I didn't. I don't know. Either way, this guy has a bunch of weapons, and Zoro's like, you must be a collector. That would be, that's actually kind of fortunate, because apparently we need weapons. I'm gonna take all your weapons. And then the very last panel is them clashing, and the guy being like, you'll have to, like, take him from me, or something like that, and I think it'll be a cool fight. I do wonder, though, if this guy is, like, just a one-off, like, they'll throw him away kind of character, or whether he'll eventually team up with Luffy and Law and everybody else. Also, something that I completely just, I saw it, I read it, and then I just completely forgot about it when I was typing up my notes, but apparently Beppo, Law's like second in command, and his crew, they all got captured or in something, and the bad guys are essentially trying to use them as a way to get Law out in the open and to cause trouble. So now Sanji and Nami and Robin and Shinobu are gonna go and presumably try to meet up with Law and keep him from doing anything dumb once he finds out about his crew being captured. Overall, I actually really liked this chapter. I thought it was fast-paced. It was a nice chapter to just see where kind of like a lot of the other characters were doing. You got Luffy and Hyo kind of trying to, I guess, technically fight for their lives, but Luffy's pretty excited about what's going to happen, and I'm pretty positive that Queen's going to get in the ring eventually. And then we got Sanji and Nami and Robin and Shinobu getting back together and basically on the run now from Hawkins and Drake, although they're going to also have to deal with the whole Beppo and Law situation. And then we saw where Zoro went, and that was, I have a feeling that he'll basically show up with a bunch of weapons, and everybody will be like, oh, that's pretty good. Anyways, I thought it was okay. It was a pretty fun and interesting chapter that is continuing to set things up. We got 9 days technically in their story before their raid on Onigashima, so everything's kind of starting to come together here and there. Well, I guess that's really all I gotta say about this chapter. Sorry, I'm a little low key, I guess. Maybe I don't come off that way, but I'm feeling a little under the weather right now. So I'm a little weird here. But let me know what you guys thought about this chapter down below in the comments section. Also, make sure to leave a like. I would greatly appreciate it. It really helps the channel out, and it lets me know that you guys are enjoying what I'm doing here. Also, remember to subscribe, because that also lets me know that you are enjoying my content, and also it lets you enjoy more of my content if you want to. Yeah, so I will see you guys in another video. So long!